Okay, are we recording? Is this thing on? You laugh. This is my intro, but you know what? I almost recorded another video without any. So let's get on with this, shall we? We've got Ahsoka. Ahsoka hit Disney Plus yesterday. Yesterday? No, 2 days ago. Anyway, and the reviews are in and they're fantastic, right? Oh, wait, NPR. Star Wars Ahsoka has a Jedi with two lightsabers, but not much else. Oh dear. If all you know about the Star Wars franchise is its feature films, you might not be aware who Ahsoka Tano. Okay, let's go try something else. Ahsoka review: more bad Star Wars in a galaxy too far away to care. Oh dear. Despite great potential for its all female trio, the latest space series takes our interest in the franchise for granted. Even the David Tennant voice droid is a missed opportunity. Okay. Forget that one. Forget that one. Observer, Ahsoka review. All right, the most lifeless, my lifeless Star Wars installment yet. That's not very good. Rosario Dawson is an errant Jedi Knight. She's not a Jedi Knight. Searching for a missing hero before a new war can start. But this show is so plotting. It wouldn't be surprising to find out the actors and director has been oh dear, have been replaced by artificial intelligence. Wow, this isn't looking so good. Okay, one more. We'll try this one. This article from Collider, which, that was long and drawn out. I don't care. It was fun. I thought it was funny. Ahsoka review: more for Star Wars diehards than casual fans. Oops. Ooh, that's kind of a little painful. But, unfortunately, it's true. Because if you haven't been following Star Wars Rebels, if you haven't been following the Clone Wars, Rebels, or I believe The Mandalorian or any of these other shows on Disney Plus, you might not have any idea what's going on. And that's very unfortunate because this might be something that it could be an attempt, or it could have been successful in getting the casual fan interested in these characters, interested in the back shows, because you have Disney Plus because you're watching Ahsoka. Right? I don't think they did enough to pull the casual fan in, but let's see what Collider has to say. Rosario Dawson stars as Ahsoka Tano in Dave Filoni's wet dream, the live-action continuation of Star Wars Rebels, because apparently this is, season 5 of Star Wars Rebels, just in live action. Review was written during the What the hell is this? This review was written, we have a disclaimer at the front of an article. Yes, I even go off on tangents in my recordings. This video was written during the 2023 WGA and SAG-AFTRA strikes. Without the labor of the writers and actors currently on strike, the series being covered here wouldn't exist. And is that supposed to be a good thing? This show was so, I don't want to risk saying boring. I'm going to say the pacing was terrible. The choreography was terrible for the lightsaber fights. Lots of nonsense, but going to go into so many more specifics. If you're interested in my basic as all get out review, go check it out. Posted it last night as the time of this video. Let's date myself on this one, but go check it out and join us on Wednesday nights, 8 p.m. Central, Dumpster Fireside Chat, because my co-host and I, Hoshiro, will be talking about these 2 episodes, maybe even the third one, at length. Believe me. Back to the article. Is that 2 tangents? That's 2. The Mandalorian became a gateway for a lot of new and casual Star Wars fans who directly benefited from how the series positioned its titular character as an outsider who was almost entirely unaware of the larger galaxy and its inhabitants. And I'll give this one to The Mandalorian and maybe Book of Boba Fett. You didn't have to really know anything about all these other shows. You didn't have to follow 4 seasons of the Rebels to follow and enjoy The Mandalorian. And you know who Boba Fett is. Everyone knows who Boba Fett is just by watching the movies. If all you did was watch the movies, you would have no clue who Ahsoka is or any of the other characters. And that is unfortunate. They could have spent some time in the first and second episode, in the first opening episodes, giving you just a little bit more backstory. There was some, but I don't think it was enough, unfortunately, to pull in the casual viewer. back to this. For a large portion of that show's audience, season 2 was their very first introduction to the character of Ahsoka Tano, which may be to the detriment of Dave Filoni's newest wet dream, Ahsoka. Unlike The Mandalorian, which slowly eased its audience into more lore-heavy storytelling, because it was supposed to be probably, multiple seasons, or The Book of Boba Fett, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Andor. Andor was great. Go watch it. Don't watch Obi-Wan Kenobi. Don't watch it. It's terrible. The writing was terrible. It just, no. Lore breaking, canon breaking, and that's a hill I'll live on for the rest of my life. It's not one anybody's going to die on. Go watch Andor. It's great. Andor, which are tied to the film franchise, Ahsoka is intrinsically connected to over 200 episodes of animated series Star Wars The Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels. Are you going to go back and watch even half of that to know anything that's going on? Sure. You don't want the live action, you don't want the Ahsoka series to waste time, although they wasted a considerable amount of time just staring and pausing and oh boy, the pacing. Oh, somebody needs to work on that pacing. There's probably going to be a fan edit. Once all the episodes are out, there will be a fan edit that will cut the runtime at least in half and possibly even be more enjoyable, depending on what sort of flashbacks they have, for sure. Because if you didn't know, Hayden Christensen's going to be reprising his roles as Anakin Skywalker, but, if they handle it well, some sort of, flashbacks. Doing flashbacks like in Kenobi. Let's see. Smaller audience has consumed over the years. Despite claims that the audiences wouldn't necessarily have to watch either series before diving into Ahsoka, you'll have no clue who the characters are. You're given hints. But I'm not sure, like I said, I'm not sure it's enough, and I need to stop repeating myself. The first 2 episodes make it quite clear that you do actually need them in order to fully understand what's happening. Again, I'm going to wait and pass final judgment on that until all the episodes are out. Because what a decent episodic show can do is give you small little snippets throughout. But in the first 2 episodes, there were none. There was a mural to give you an idea. Sabine looked at a hologram message from Ezra Bridges, not Ezra Miller, from Ezra Bridges, one of the characters that they ultimately looking for. Spoilers, but sure. If you haven't watched, look, spoilers. If you haven't watched the first 2 episodes by now, then you're not interested in watching the first 2 episodes. That is the whole thing about this show. People who want to watch it, people who are eager, excited, and thoroughly enjoying these are watching them the night they come out, which is a good thing, definitely a good reason to have this as a weekly episodic show. It's a fantastic idea. It's the best idea Disney has had in a long time. It'll give people the opportunity to watch it, talk about it, speculate for the next episode, rinse and repeat each week. Binge model is not good for stories like this, as long as they're good, and that's still up in the air. I haven't 100% decided. There's pluses and minuses, but let's get back to the article. Thank you for making it this far. At least with The Mandalorian, Dawson's Season 2 face-off against Morgan Elsbeth directly ties into the start of Ahsoka. That's a plus. Though it is yet to be seen if Ahsoka's appearance in Book of Boba Fett and her friendships with Luke Skywalker will feature in the series. Oh, anybody want to see Jake Skinwalker? Oh, boy. Ahsoka caters more to longtime Star Wars fans than franchise newcomers, 100%, and that could be to the massive detriment of the series. As with The Mandalorian, Ahsoka suffers from not having a writer's room. What? Or at least not having more voices involved. This was written before the strike. What are you talking about? There's no denying that Filoni is an excellent story creator, but his scripts often lack the connective tissues that can make a good story great. So there was no discussion, no spitballing, nobody there to say, Filoni, hey, you might want to put this in. He's just going to assume that anybody watching this show, well, they're just going to have to go back and watch Rebels, watch Clone Wars, watch all that stuff if you want to keep up. To hell with putting any sort of hints, tips, tricks, flashbacks, or anything sort of like that. Maybe just a little bit of exposition. Tiny bit. Couple minutes. His intimate knowledge of Ahsoka's storied history and her relationship with Hera Syndulla. She's the general. Are we going to see her anymore? And will she ever take off that helmet? Ever. Like, ever. And Sabine Wren, who, nope, should be dead, often leads to integral information being left out of conversations, which would improve the viewing experience for casual fans. True. There are a lot of vague implications about why we, as an audience, should care about the search for Ezra Bridger. They gave you a little hint, introduction to him in the hologram message to Sabine. So, having some sort of idea, some of her expression, she pines over this, she adores the message, and then Ahsoka comes in and looks at the message briefly. The message doesn't play, so it just shows the hologram of him. And I guess the audience is supposed to assume that this guy is important. Ahsoka brings Ezra up to Sabine, and that there being some hope that he could still be alive. Those are the smallest hints that Ezra is a beloved character as far as the other characters are concerned. They did minor little things here and there, but I'm not sure if it was enough. Hunt for Thrawn, which, God, if you didn't know, yeah, you would have to have watched Rebels to know who that is, or go back and read Heir to the Empire, which is a far better story. But most of it is left to reading between the lines, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think reading between the lines, you assume that your audience is smart enough to read between the lines, instead of putting everything out there in the script, in lines of dialogue. So maybe, just maybe Dave Filoni is actually trying to treat his audience as if they're intelligent human beings and have the ability to read between the lines. So this could definitely be a plus. I'm giving Dave Filoni a plus. My goodness, what's going on? Reading between the lines, which doesn't work when only half your audience understands the language. What, English? No. While the first pair of episodes work to whet the appetites of the casual fans, they won't get the same enjoyment that diehard fans will from the premiere. That is true, but it's not necessarily necessary. I'm not going to say that. I already did. It could whet the appetite of the casual fans and get them, since they already have Disney Plus, it could get them to start going back and watch the Clone Wars and watch Rebels and learn about these characters if you do enough to pique their interest. But you have to have better pacing and better choreography to get people to give a rat's ass. Even for fans who know everything about Ahsoka Tano's 15-year chokehold? Really? She's that popular? I guess. She keeps coming back. They brought her back from the dead. Chokehold in the Star Wars fandom. The first 2 episodes of Ahsoka introduce new plot points that don't necessarily fit into the information that we're left with after Rebels. I believe at the end of Rebels, Ahsoka captures Scary Lady, and that's where Ahsoka picks up. So what are they talking about? While some may be excited to see Sabine Wren becoming a Jedi, oh, spoiler alert. Information provided so far about her short-lived training, blah, 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 blah. So, introduces new characters. The main thing about this article, the main reason I wanted to talk about is, number one, you have all these articles. No, Ahsoka is not being welcomed 100% across the board with open arms. There are other people complaining about the pacing, about just, the lack of context. But again, the number one thing right here, it is 100% will be more enjoyable at first from the longtime diehard fans, the people who have been following the animated shows and the live-action shows on Disney+. Hopefully, not to the detriment of the casual fans, but we'll have to wait and see. I will be watching it, we'll be talking about it, we'll be reviewing it, because, hey, that's what's in the culture right now. But I am interested to see where the story goes, despite the massive contrivance, despite the lackluster pacing and pretty much piss poor lightsaber fights. But have you watched it? Are you interested? Are you looking forward to the next episode? If you have watched it, let me know what you think in the comments. Leave a like, leave a dislike. I appreciate you making it this far. Have a good one. Oh, hit that subscribe button if you don't mind, if you haven't already, and I'll see you on the next one.